'Tis the season to be jolly. Except if you're a Spurs fan. Welcome to the Christmas edition of the Crowing Cockerel podcast.
Right, welcome to the Christmas Cracker. I'm Graham. I'm here with Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
And Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hello, boys.
Yeah, are we full of the joys of the season or feeling like Christmas Grinches at the moment?
I need to unburden because that was such a depressing outcome over the weekend. And I think the only way I can do it is if I just splurge it all out in some top of the pops-esque top 5 hates of the Liverpool game. Would you mind indulging me?
Go for it, Pop Picker.
Okay. Well, here we go. In at number 5, that was definitely a foul for the second goal. 2 hands on the back. Romero was jumping straight. He then falls forward. So how that's given, I have no idea. Dreadful decision. In at number 4, we spoke in the last pod about players taking responsibility. What was Kudus doing standing still for like 10 seconds or so in that second half, just not looking where we're going? He's been our best attacking player and he's become our weakest. That's a worry. In at number 3, Xavi's red card was one of the most useless, pointless bookings I've ever seen in my life. Really immature. Going in like that, I don't think he's got anything to complain about, and now we're going to lose him for 3 matches. Ridiculous. In at number 2, Romero's red card you could see coming a mile off. He gave away the first goal with that ridiculous pass. You could see he was throwing himself into challenges. He's supposed to be our captain and he's supposed to be leading by example. Xavi apologised for his red. I've not seen one from Romero. And in at number 1, there is no attacking confidence in this Tottenham team. Instead, all we seem to do now is invite pressure. When you invite pressure, you make mistakes. Just like we did against Forest, just like we did against Liverpool. And that comes from the manager. Boys, I am livid.
So, what was your positive parts, Mark?
I've got to say, I'm struggling this week for positives. I mean, I think it's fair to say I've tried to eke out some optimism and positivity through this season so far, even though there hasn't been much evidence to warrant any. But yeah, I'm struggling after the last 2 games, and I was trying to think, what is it for me that's really changed? And all I could come up with is that I think what it is now is that I'm starting to look at the players rather than the manager. And it's the players that are really letting me down and disappointing me with their kind of the individual actions that you've just talked about. You know, obviously Xavi and Romero and Kudus with his performances. But then just as a collective as well, there just seems to be a real collective lack of confidence, lack of ability. We spoke last week about the passes going all over the place. Yeah, it's I'm finding it a real struggle at the moment to find any sort of positivity to cling on to.
What's slightly worrying for me is that the positivity that came out of the game is that we scared Liverpool a little bit when we were down to 10 men. But really, I mean, we were solid and hard to break down for the first 30 minutes or whatever the time was until Xavi got sent off. But we created one chance, which was a cross in the box and then a cross back and then a header at the back post. So it wasn't going to be a pretty goal. I don't think that was the way that attack was structured. It was played back in, and then Kolo Muani really should have scored.
A weak header, wasn't it? Such a weak header.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot to go on. Apart from there was an element of togetherness and an element of fight that got us back in the game. And Liverpool, unfortunately, were there for the taking. They're so poor defensively. They're as poor defensively as we are at attacking. And all we had to do was go at them. We could have got at them on the break 3 or 4 times. And I don't want us as a pod to turn into a Kudus pile-on because we've already criticised him in terms of what he's doing at the moment. But why does he have to hold on to the ball for so long? He doesn't look up at all. The switches that were on 2 or 3 times, I think I counted, just switch it and we're in. But he doesn't want to, does he? He wants to hold the ball, but I don't know whether that's him or whether that's Thomas Frank saying you hold it and you wait for the whole team to come up together so we're not stretched. And that's my concern as well. Where is the Kudus issue coming from? Is it Kudus or is it that, no, we don't want to do anything that's going to risk goals on transition. What was that? Defensive transition, because that was
Yeah.
what Thomas Frank was proud of a few games ago, wasn't he?
If I can complete the circle, Mark was talking about the players. You were saying about the players, but maybe from instruction from Frank. My feeling now is that the players don't know what to do. The players are not being coached in an attacking sense. There is no forward-thinking patterns or shapes or instructions which these players are finding comfortable to carry out, because you can't have this many passes going astray. You can't have players running into cul-de-sacs and not knowing where their next pass is. And you can't look at that situation against Liverpool and say that we played well before we went 1-0 behind. There were a couple of moments, but otherwise we were still missing passes. We were still losing possession too easily. And like I said, the only time we looked like a threat was when Frank's original game plan went out the window, and we had to try something else because we were already behind and down a man.
And this is what it reminds me of at Spurs right now, is that until the players kind of revolt and chaos takes over like it did in that second half, that's the only time we actually look like hurting the opposition, when players are going all over the place and there doesn't seem to be any great pattern. And I'd love to see Thomas Frank's face when that happens. You just imagine him kind of shaking and getting a little bit kind of nervous and upset because things aren't following whatever he wants it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy just how awful we are going forward at the moment. It's just.
I tell you as well, Mark. You're talking about the players needing to revolt maybe and take more ownership, and and that's mad. Can I take you boys back 4 months? Frank is appointed. Everybody is going, okay, good Premier League manager with experience. He's got results against the big boys. You could totally see why that was the way to go, especially after finishing 17th. You then have the transfer window. Yeah, a couple of hiccups, but actually I think we would all agree if those hiccups didn't happen, you'd look at that transfer window and go, yes, some quality players coming in there to add to what we've got. And yes, we've had some injuries. We start okay. Daniel Levy goes. And we have this new sort of hierarchy, which is very positive and talking about looking towards the future. And now you roll it forward 4 months. You've got players who don't look like they know what they're doing. You've got Frank coming out. I thought it was really weird how he came out after the Liverpool game, and it was very much the referee did this and the referee did that, and I'm very proud of my players. What game is he watching?
I hated that. It's just excuses.
You've got the players that have come in on transfer who are looking like now that they're potentially the worst players on the pitch. And then, I don't know if you guys have seen in the last few days, apparently Paratici is who I think has only been with us back a few weeks.
2 months. 2 months. 2 months.
Is now sort of, is it Fiorentina that he's apparently heading off to? So we've gone from a brand new management structure, new manager, new players, to what the hell is going on?
It doesn't paint a great picture, does it? And, we've now got players that, have come with big reputations and are looking really quite lost. And again, you can look at the sort of, the big squads, if you like, the Man Cities, the Arsenal, Chelsea's, even Liverpool. And Liverpool's squad is you'd look at that and go, yeah, they should be right at the top end of the league. After that, I might be naive, I might be biased even, but I don't see the players that we can put out in the first 11 at the moment being a bottom 10 squad by any stretch. Any stretch. I mean, the Everton are above us at the moment. There's no way that Everton have got a better squad and a better first team than Spurs can put out at the moment. And that's with 3 big players. And I don't know if you've seen today, but there are a lot of rumours going round today that Solanke's out for another 2 months. So
Yeah.
Kolo Muani's come in. He looks okay in flashes. We've got to remember that PSG paid 100 million quid for this player, and he's got a big reputation. He was good at Juventus. He looks like he's got potential. Well, I'm pretty sure he's better than just looking like he's got a bit of potential. Richarlison's actually having quite a good season, goal scoring wise. Let's face it, he is getting scraps. He's not getting chance after chance. To be fair to him, he is prone to missing chances, but he hasn't had a chance to miss many chances.
No, fair play to him.
But then, it's a really good point, Graham. And if that's the case, and we're at home, and we've had the game against Forest where it was abysmal, why would you then not keep Richarlison and Moani in that team? Why would you drop Richarlison and then go, oh, well, now we'll have? Why would you mix it
I
up
mean,
again?
Richarlison was awful against Forest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We were atrocious against Forest, but
Everyone was atrocious against Forest.
Yeah, but maybe this is the thing. Richarlison caused havoc against Liverpool because we were in their third and we were getting in their faces. Maybe, just maybe, Richarlison isn't a back to the goal, hold up striker. He's a get in there, try and finish off chances type of striker.
Yeah.
And maybe trying to play players in positions that they're not very good at isn't very good. It's making everybody worse. Now, Romero, bless his cotton socks, and there are games where he absolutely looks like a world beater, and there are games when he does things that just look crazy. But he is the guy that passes it through the lines. Now, what he tried to do was pass it through the lines, mucked it up, and then had a brain rush, didn't he? Rush of blood to the head. Tried to fix his mistake by doing what he is actually there to do, to be the aggressive centre back, but was too late, and then it got spread wide, and it got played through, and Isaac scored. We're very reliant on Romero playing those passes. Otherwise, we don't get up the pitch at all. And again, everybody at the moment under this system has to be almost perfect at what their perfection is. So Kudos has to come out with something that's world beating by taking on 15 players to do anything, because there's no other way that
But that's because the pace of play is so slow. That's the whole point, is that if you play as slow, that's why it drives me mad. I know what you're saying about Romero, but just the way he wanders out and he's pointing here, there, and everywhere. When you're playing well and you know what to do, you don't see players pointing everywhere. I distinctly remember that in past regimes, is that you have players pointing all over the place because they're almost trying to figure it out on the pitch, to your point, Tom. And like Romero, I don't know. I'm sure we may as well talk about Romero now. I'm losing patience big time with him. I mean, we called him out a few weeks ago after he'd picked up I think it was his 5th booking in a row. And I think you even made a joke at the time, Graham, about him wanting to get his cards in so he could have Christmas off. But it's just brainless, isn't it? I mean, this is a guy who is an experienced...
He has got more cards at Christmas than I have this year.
Yeah.
It's in the post, mate. It's in the post.
But this is his 4th red card since he's been with us. He's got 30-something yellow cards to go along with that as well. He's won a World Cup. He's our captain. He's meant to be the leader, the shining example in this team. And to me, he just looks like he's playing for himself. All the time he goes bombing up front and playing centre forward for a couple of minutes. What's that all about? I'm sorry, but you are not doing that for the team. You're doing that because you just think, I'm bored of this. Like, let's just go up there for a little bit. And even the reaction to losing the ball like that, it's amateur hour. It's absolute amateur hour. Van de Ven was with him. If he hadn't have gone and chased the ball like that, we might have been able to contain it. But he just goes off, loses his head, and it's just absolute naive defending from a player that should not be doing things like that. And it's not the first time. I don't know. I just think, is he really the captain? If you paint a picture of somehow this turning around, however that might happen, and us becoming a serious contender for the top 4, is Romero in that team still? I'm not sure he is.
Is Romero a good footballer? Is he a good defender? Yeah, 100% he is. We're not talking about his skills as a footballer. We're talking about his attitude and his ability to temper the whatever it is that's coursing through his Argentinian veins during a match, because he does seem to get overly fired up. We haven't specifically spoken about the sending off yet, but he makes the mistake for the first goal. He gets muscled out for the second, which I maintain is still a foul.
I think that's really harsh. He got I mean, he's in midair and he gets pushed in the back. That is not getting muscled out.
I'm trying to be in Romero's head here, right? So he's feeling like he's been fouled, he's been pushed around, he's made the mistake for the first goal. He's already picked up a yellow card, by the way, at that point.
Well, he got the yellow card for dissent, but he bumped into the ref, didn't he? Which is completely out of order. That
Exactly,
is not okay.
And then you decide that your crowning glory is to kick a player when the ref is less than 5 meters away from you, staring right at you. That it's the mentality that's the issue. And I think I said the last time we had a proper chat about Romero that you like to see it, in the sense that you don't mind if one of your players is going around, throwing the weight around, crunching into tackles. You can really lift the crowd. But he's forgotten where the line is. I think there's a real question now that if we don't see sort of an upturn in that mentality, he shouldn't be captain. If we can't trust him to be that example on the pitch, I think there's a genuine argument to take the armband off him. And as I said before, Xavi apologised for his red card. I've seen nothing from Romero, and I don't care if you think it's unfair. I don't think if he thinks he's been hard done by, that's what you do, especially if you're captain.
So I think we've all been quite critical there of Cuti Romero, but he is only 25 games into his captaincy, and we were very, very fortunate to get the opinion today on our Blue Sky account from the greatest ever Spurs captain, the legend that Steve Perryman. And he made, of course, a brilliant point in that he felt he wasn't the best captain after 50 games. He was a much better captain after 250 games. Ultimately, Romero possibly needs time. Is that fair to say?
I will say this. It's 25 games this season. He has been a vice captain previously. He has captained Argentina. This isn't his first season being a captain. So because I think the issue here isn't necessarily about the number of games. It's about when things don't quite go right. That's when we lose a little bit of faith, and he loses a little bit of his temper. So yeah, maybe he does need to sort of mature into the role a bit more. But what I don't want to start doing necessarily is starting making excuses for him. He's a professional footballer that's been at the top of his game for a good 2-3 years now. And none of us said that this was a bad call when he was made captain at the start of the season.
I'm certainly not going to start disagreeing with Steve Perryman. I think there is one big difference, though, between the two, and that is that Steve Perryman was appointed captain by the legend that is Bill Nicholson when he was only 20.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's only natural to think that, of course, you can't expect him to be as good a captain at the age of 20 as he is at Romero's age now. I think he's being kind to Romero, in all honesty. He's got previous, and I don't think necessarily being appointed the captain has really changed anything in the way he goes about playing football. He's being very nice, but personally, I don't really see that as a legitimate excuse to what we've been seeing recently from him.
Thank you, Steve, for taking the time out just to send us a message back from a happy birthday post. So
happy birthday, Steve!
Happy birthday, Steve. And we all got a bit giddy, didn't we, that we got something back?
Yes, a real honour to be able to get the opinion of a true Spurs legend there. So thank you, Steve. So moving on then, what is the answer? Where do you think we have to go from here?
Well, you look at the good teams at the the upper end of the table, or even the teams like Leeds at the moment. Players got the ball. A ball is played into a player. There's then 2 or 3 support players around them straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas what we do at the moment is give it to Kudus and then go, well, Kudus is going to hang on to it for 20 minutes. So we'll just stand here and wait for it, see if he can take it round 4 people. And then we might make a run if we get through. But to be honest, what I've got to do is stay in this bit of my pitch.
Yeah.
And it does look like they're all given a square box. And Conte got heavily criticised for this because that was his thing, wasn't it? You only play in the bit of the pitch that I give you. But I don't remember us being like this.
Well, it's a bit like, so I heard the other day, which again kind of reinforced something we were saying the other day about not taking any long shots. Apparently that is a Thomas Frank thing. He doesn't like teams to take long shots because mathematically you've got very little chance of scoring from them. So he wants to get it into the box.
But mathematically, you're not going to score if you don't take any shots.
No,
So,
exactly.
I mean, I just
and how many shots have been slammed into the net from the edge of the box against us?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
when I hear things like that, it's just I'm struggling.
I can understand that in lower quality football leagues, the Championship, you know, some of the foreign leagues, because the players aren't as good.
Yeah,
But you go and tell Morgan Rogers at the moment not to shoot from just outside the box.
yeah.
I mean, you can't see Aston Villa even contemplating the option of not allowing their best player to do what he's best at.
I think you've got to look at players like we've got creative players. We're not seeing them in a creative capacity because that's not how they're being set up to play. I am relatively confident that if you give players like Xavi, Kanwani, Bergval, Kudos, Odebert, even if you give these players the chance to cut in and have a go, because we're putting that much pressure on a team that they're sitting as far back as, I don't know, let's say us, then yeah, I think we're going to get chances, but we're not creating those chances.
Well, how many goals have Tell and Odebert scored for the French under-21s? You see them cutting inside and slamming shots in the top corner all the time.
Tell got one against Leeds from I think it was either just outside or just inside the box when we actually played it quickly
Yeah,
and got a shot off.
that was one of our 4 through balls all season up till Saturday, and now we're at 7. The average in the league, apparently, is 31. That's the average in the league, and we're on
Yeah,
7. We've played
yeah.
7 through balls all
I,
season.
I genuinely thought that was a joke stat. If that's real, I don't think it's too soon. Can we get the Frankometer out?
I think we should.
Right, so the Frankometer, yes, we do need to get it out. What are we going with? Who wants to start?
I'll start. And because I was thinking about this, obviously, I knew we were going to have this conversation. And I realized that for me, it's almost not even the question that I'm asking myself in terms of do I want Frank in or out? The bigger question that I realized I'm really answering is do I want the upheaval of trying to get a new manager in just before the January transfer window? It just feels like you're basically going to write off the next 6 months of the season if you do that. So for me, it's not even about Thomas Frank anymore. I'm going to say Frank in, but that's only because I don't want to revolve the door and write off this. We may as well just carry on and see what happens with him rather than just chuck it all away and basically write off the season once again.
Yeah, I think it's a really excellent point. And one of the narratives that Frank was spinning after the Tottenham game was that things haven't happened at Tottenham because no one is given time, and you need time to build, to genuinely build something. And you're right, the January transfer window is coming up. You've got an opportunity to build, and maybe try and find some sort of continuity and consistency. However, I'm Frank out. I'm done.
Good, because I was wondering what the point of this is, if we're all going to go, yeah, but anyway.
All the reasons you say, Mark, sure. But after the last couple of performances, I just don't have any faith that the players are either listening to Frank or Frank has the capacity to give the messages which are going to make us play anything like a decent football team. I think either the players have lost faith in him or they don't understand the messaging, and that's a dangerous situation to be in. So despite the upheaval, my meter has swung to Frank out.
Yeah. So I'm finding it really, really difficult because I really agree with Mark in that what is the point? But how have we got to this place that it's just what is the point?
Yeah, so
Because
quickly, so
how
quickly.
how depressing is it that it's like, well, yeah, it's terrible. It's rubbish. The form is atrocious. There's no way that a manager should be able to keep their job. I don't care how long he's been in the job for.
That's
He has
true.
had 25 games, I think, to embed his ethos, and it's not getting better. We're getting flashes against poor teams, and it's not improving. But I just can't see the point. I can't
Mm.
see the point. You've got to give him, I guess, a window to give him some players. I mean, we do need a proper strike. If Solanke's out for 2 months, we have to get try and get someone in that is a proper number 9. The way that Frank plays or wants to play at the moment doesn't work without a striker that can hold onto the ball and play in other people. Basically, we need Harry Kane.
That'd be lovely. So you're saying
So I am saying that at the moment, this week, Frank in.
right. And you're right, Graham. If we can bring in some players in the transfer window, that'd be fantastic. Who's coming to a Premier League team in 13th place?
Okay.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I heard the report about Semenyo today, who has politely declined our offer. And I'm not surprised. There's two things I just wanted to pick up on what Graham was saying just quickly about Frank's ethos and that message not coming through. I think my big concern is that I'm not sure I really want his ethos, because everything I see, even if he gets to a point where his messaging is coming through loud and clear and the players are doing exactly what he wants them to do, I'm not sure that is a football team that I want to watch. That's one big concern to me, is that I desperately want him to have the time, but if he has the time and puts this in place, is the end result something that we want anyway? The second thing, though, is Solanke. What do you think is going on with Solanke? Because it's been a bit of a mystery all season. I don't think there's ever been any kind of clear communication about what the problem is, how long he's going to be out for, and what is going on. And I've heard some interesting rumours circling around the internet for quite a while that it all might not be quite as it seems with Solanke. There may be another reason for his enforced layoff. I don't know whether you've heard the same rumours.
No, do tell.
No. Come on. Let's speculate.
The speculation is the general internet, so take it as you will. But allegedly, there are rumours that he has failed a drugs test. That's what I've been hearing. And that's why it's been all kind of cloak and dagger and mystery injuries, because that's actually what's happened. And that's why he's been forced to be out. Now, like I say, the internet, you can take that with a pinch of salt, but it does feel strange that whilst on one hand you've got Maddison on his YouTube channel posting hour-long documentaries about his recovery and all this lot, and then Solanke, we've barely seen or heard. I'm not even sure we're absolutely sure of what the injury even is, are we? Let alone what's happening.
He went out on the grass, didn't he? Went out on the grass for a training session. But it would be strange, wouldn't it? Because if it was a drug test that was a performance-enhancing drug, then surely
get him in the team.
But surely it would have been out there by now, because it would have been.
You would have thought so. I don't know.
So then you suggest that it's like something else, that a bit like Basuma, that's had some issues and he's gone down a path. But
he was in Maddison's video, wasn't he? That Maddison video. He was in training. Yeah,
I've seen his Instagram posts and things like that. He got married in the summer, didn't he?
Yeah, it just seems strange that there just doesn't seem to have been any sort of clarification about what's going on with him at all.
But we also have to remember that Kulusevski, he got injured in March, was it? And it was just a knock.
Yeah.
So I think to a point, you can see the caution of the club to say anything, because one view would be is that our medical department haven't got a clue about anything.
Mm.
They probably operated on the wrong foot or something ridiculous like that. And it's like
or put it back on backwards.
I don't know what to say. I mean, you said it last week, Graham. If we lose against Liverpool, because I'd started talking about, maybe the Forest performance was a result of, again, a lack of professionalism. The pressure was off a little bit after we'd had a couple of games, without defeat. But you said, as soon as we lose against Liverpool, that ramps straight back up again. And you're exactly right. I mean, the next two games, away to Palace, and then
just got spanked by Leeds, and the manager's had a right go at them. And Palace is a difficult place to go.
Oh yeah,
and then away to Brentford. It's the same scenario again, isn't it? I mean, you look at those two games, and obviously we're going to do our predictions for the Palace game, but you really do struggle. I mean, again, the doom mongerers keep talking about 17th last season, and we're heading that way again. And again, like you look at the games
last season doesn't. That is completely false. Not a false position based on based on
But we're heading
performance.
there again. We're heading there again.
Yeah.
Like let's
But
not.
there's no excuse this time because we
No.
haven't got the injuries. We haven't got anything else to focus on.
And again, it might be the thing that the bottom three at the moment are becoming detached again. And we might be relying on just the terribleness of three worst teams, because you look at it, and again, like we've said it before, if you can't win your home games, you're not expected to win too many of your away games. Where on earth are the points going to come from? It's going to take a massive, massive change somewhere, because at the moment, our points per game, we are going only one way down that table at the moment.
Yeah, I was really surprised after the Liverpool game because after the Forest game, there was a bit of clamour around Thomas Frank. You know, some names were getting thrown out with regards to sort of who could come in. After the Liverpool game, it's almost like because of the way Liverpool almost collapsed, because we were 9 men down at the end, it sort of gave Frank
Like
a bit of a free pass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. And wouldn't it be nice to see a couple of free passes that we actually played during the match? But no,
Yeah.
it's not something we're doing at the minute. And for me, Frank has got off very lightly. So talking about our predictions, Mark, shall we labour into the predictions spreadsheet and see what the standings are?
Yeah, so obviously just the one game against Liverpool. It'll be interesting to see whether Graham still predicts Romero to score in the game that he's suspended for. So he predicted a draw, so I'm afraid no points there. I also predicted a draw, but I did come up with Richarlison as my goal scorer, so I get a point. And Tom was perfectly correct to be all negative. He predicted a defeat, so he also gets a point. So the scores are Graham with 15, I move up to 18, and Tom moves on to 21.
Fair enough. Do we have a little think now about the Palace game? We just mentioned it there. I think away at Palace, years ago, you'd think, oh, we'll get something out of this game. You know where my head's at. What are you thinking, Graham?
I really don't like predicting that Spurs will lose. I always have hope, but my positivity is now at getting a draw. If we get a draw, it's a point in it. So yeah, I'll go for a draw. Who will score a goal? Great question. I mean, let's go Kolo Muani. I mean, he deserves a goal. I mean, I think he's been
He does.
pretty decent playing for us. So yeah, let's Kolo Muani.
Mark?
Yeah, Palace are a decent side these days. They've got a good manager, and I don't see anything right now that suggests we're going to be able to come away with anything. So, unfortunately, I'm going to predict a 1-0 defeat.
I don't want to predict a third straight defeat. And for goodness sake, boys, it's Christmas. So I am going to predict a 0-0 draw. I think because of the... Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Because Romero's out, obviously Dancer will come in, but also with Xavi out, I think we'll have a return to our old friend, the double pivot. Bentancur, Paulina will come back in. They'll sit there, and I can see it being a complete rearguard action, just to sort of stem the tide. I think it's the best we can hope for. So there we go, and a happy new year, 0-0.
Wow. A part the bus rearguard action away to Crystal Palace. That is where we've got to.
Right. Well, given those predictions were predominantly miserable, can I see if I can cheer you boys up with a Tom's teaser?
Let's do that.
Oh, actually, I don't know why I'm happy. I'm rubbish at these, but yeah.
Play that Christmas jingle.
Tom's teaser.
Right, boys, I'm going to keep it short and sweet this week. We're going to have a simple game of true or false, but we're going to base it around a player that played for both Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool. That's right. This is a game of Keane or not Keane. So I'm going to give you some facts about Robbie Keane, and you're going to tell me if it's true or if it's false.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. I felt sure it was going to be about Ronnie Rosenthal.
Maybe next week. Okay, so I've got 6 questions for you. Mark, I'm going to start with you because every time I've tried to give Graham the advantage, he's thrown it away. So I'm going to give you a statement and you just have to tell me, is it Keane or is it not Keane? All right, here we go. Question 1. Robbie Keane made over 230 appearances for Tottenham. Keane or not Keane?
Keane, he was there for ages.
Really? Really? Yeah, you're right. It's Keane. He made 238. So what a mark. You get a point. Graham, we come to you. Goals. Robbie Keane scored over 100 goals for Tottenham. Keane or not Keane?
Keane.
Robbie Keane scored 91 goals for Tottenham. So it was, yeah, you should have been not keen on that answer. Okay, Mark, your statement. Over the 2 years between 2010 and 2012, Robbie Keane was a player at 4 clubs. Keen or not keen?
Interesting. 2010 to 2012. So that's after he left Spurs. I'm going to say not keen.
You're right. He played for 5 clubs in a 2-year period. Tottenham, Celtic on loan, West Ham on loan, then LA Galaxy, and then Villa on loan. He actually played for 5 clubs.
And he was a massive fan of every single one of them.
Graham, statement number 4. As a manager, Keane has won 2 domestic titles with 2 different clubs. Are you keen or are you not keen?
I'm going to go, I think it's 1, so I'm going to go not keen.
You should have been keen, dude, because he's won 2 domestic titles. He's won one with Maccabi Tel Aviv and one with Ferencváros. Question number 5 goes to Mark. Okay, Mark, your statement. Joining commentary in 1999 for $6 million made Keane the British transfer record for a teenager.
Keane.
That was very quick.
Yeah, I know that one. True. Definitely true.
My God, that is right. Mark, it's really 3-0. The final statement, I don't think it actually matters, does it?
Not really.
Okay, Graham. Keane's famous roll and double guns goal celebration was due to his dad's obsession with cowboy movies. Are you keen or are you not keen?
No, I'm not keen. No, not keen.
Breaking news, Graham wins a point. Well done. It was just what he used to do. But that does mean at the end of keen or not keen, it is a resounding 3-1 win to Mark, which means in Tom's teaser, Mark moves into a 4-point lead. It's Graham 5, Mark 9.
Tom's teaser.
So, as it's Christmas, we don't want to finish on a low of me losing again. What we want to do is go out with a bang with a bit of positivity. So here's positive Spurs.
Now everybody, haven't you heard? Here's a guy that can polish your turd. When you think you've got nothing to give, he'll stay positive. Positive Spurs.
Right. So, although we've got one more show to the end of the year, I think we've lost again at home. We've had a terrible home record this year.
You've forgotten the point of this segment.
No, I haven't. So no, because Spurs fans have turned up this year, haven't they? In their droves, and they've tried to back the team. As Tom, you said, won 4 games or something in 2025 in the league at home. But one thing 2025 gave us is something that we hadn't had for 17 years. And no matter what's happened this year in the league, we had Bilbao. And it feels such a long time ago.
It really, really does.
But it was only May. It was only 7 months ago. And I think we'll all agree that was one of the best nights of being a Spurs fan. But also, I think it was about 3:30 in the morning after we'd got to the dregs of whatever we'd found to drink by that point, that the seeds of this pod started to form.
Very much so.
I think we look back on 2025. We'll always have that memory of that trophy. But it was also the year that we decided, instead of just chatting amongst ourselves and nobody ever hearing how rubbish we are at Tom's teasers, that we should, for some reason, unbeknown to anybody, try and stick it on the internet and see if anybody else can listen. And some people have. So that's my positive
absolutely.
Spurs for today.
And just to kind of go a bit further on that, to the some people have. So last week's episode was by far and away our best ever episode. Over 150 listens. So yeah, thank you once again to everybody for that. Yeah, like you say, it was an idea that came up in the wee hours of the morning, and yeah, to get from that to where we are today, I'm sure none of us quite imagined quite the season that we were going to be talking about, and let's hope at some point it gets a little bit more enjoyable to reminisce on the Spurs games. But yeah, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and thank you to everybody that turns up and listens every week. It's really appreciated, and of course, if you can tell a friend, and word of mouth is always great. Subscribe and like, and we always look forward to hearing your comments as well. So all of that good stuff. But yeah, it's much appreciated. And yeah, thank you for listening this year. And there'll certainly be plenty more going on where that came from next year.
And if you do want to check out the clips as well, we've got a YouTube channel which has had over 115,000 views in the 6 months we've been going, and we've got a TikTok channel as well that we put all the shorts and little videos up as well. So if you do want to see our ugly mugs and you've only ever had a chance to listen on YouTube or Spotify or Amazon or Apple, then please give us a watch, give us a share, and yeah, tell us what you think.
Yeah, look, especially this season. Imagine all those Spurs fans who haven't got this to fall back on. This has been vital for my mental well-being, and the fact that other people out there are listening and contributing is fantastic. So yeah, I'll chime in with you boys. Thank you very much to anybody that's given us a listen. Please do share us with any of your other Spurs chums, and yeah, let's build a community together where we can share in the burden and hopefully the joy as and when it comes.
Here to that.
So that's the episode all wrapped up. Merry Christmas to every single Spurs fan out there. Merry Christmas, chaps.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Give me 3 points. That'd be the best present I could possibly get.
Yeah, I could definitely do with a little less stuffing.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Merry Christmas!